remember. She filed a domestic violence thing against him. And I was like, I'm not sure if I just want to do that. That's just too much. And, if we could just say that he can't contact me, because he wouldn't stop. Like, he would contact me and then come at me, and I would get anxiety. So it ended up being where he could only contact me through a certain system. So it was court monitored. And there was a time where he couldn't really see our son. We had to go somewhere for him to see him. But he would blame me for keeping our son away from him, but he wouldn't really make an effort to go to this place to see him. So it was just constant craziness. So I was dealing with all that with him. And then I got this attorney that she just wasn't right either. And she was doing shady stuff. She was like not telling me things that she was doing. She was just trying to get money out of him. She wasn't in it for me or my family or looking out for me. And so here again, I'm trying to get out of this marriage, and I just have everything coming against me. I started smoking cigarettes. My drinking was bad. I still got up. I still mothered. I was still pushing forward. I went to work every day. I was a single mom. I was just trying to have peace. Like, I just wanted out of it, and nobody was letting me out of this. He was still coming at me. She was still coming at me. It took 2 years to try to get a divorce and fighting with him just to get out of the marriage. And he has not been easy on me at all. Now, even the Lord had warned me about something that was coming with him. So I thank him for that, because he wanted to argue like religious stuff. And he just has a way to make me feel so horrible inside and give me this anxiety. So, and I truly just, it feels so good to have peace now, but it was a horrible experience, and it caused me to, I got rid of my food addiction, the binge eating, when I competed in my fitness show. It kind of gave me more, what do you say, not strength, but self-will to not go and binge eat so much. And then like I was able to, not eat as much and do stuff like that. So I was able to fight off that addiction. And then the drinking was bad. And it had been a year, and I was like, man, I'm just lonely. I'm not really hanging out with anybody. I'm a single mom. He started able to see our son. And then when he started to see our son, my son started acting really weird towards me. Like, I would come and get him from daycare, and he'd just be like, oh, it's mom. And if it was dad, he'd be like, oh yeah, it's dad. So after I finally get out of this marriage, pretty much, we were still kind of battling, because he didn't want me to get out. He wanted to make it the hardest on me as possible. He tore me down to everybody. He called me crazy. He turned everybody that we knew against me. He turned his own kids that I had loved against me. His family was loving this for some reason. And it's like everybody had turned on me. And it was so painful. And I don't know. It just... So again, I was drinking way too much. And, 1 second. So I remember talking to some friends, and they're like, Melissa, you're so pretty, you're so nice, you're always so down on yourself, you're just so depressed and so down. And I'm like, well, it's kind of hard not to be. And even at work, I had to go and talk to some people. I had to reach out to a program just to help me mentally, because it was just so much coming at me. I could hardly handle it. And so they're like, I'm like, I didn't go out, I didn't do anything. I wasn't really interested in doing anything, but I would drink wine at home, and I was drinking too much. I was drinking every day and just covering up the pain. And they're like, go on this dating site. Go on this dating site and get some attention and just feel better about yourself. So I'm like, oh, just go on there, whatever, just to go on there. And so I met a couple nice people. Like, we went to a dog park, we had a talk. I met after my divorce, my fiance. I met him on there, and he had moved from Melbourne, and he works a lot. He works a lot. And we were both kind of the same. Like, we both had bad growing ups. He thought it was important that I was a Christian. Like, he was a Christian, but he wasn't like super religious. So I guess going through all that stuff, it kind of pushed me away from religious people, or just it kind of made me have a guard up against like people in the church and stuff, I guess you could say, in a way. I mean, not really. um I don't know. But anyways, I met him and he was really nice. He's like, yeah, this isn't my thing. This is, being on a dating site. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of awkward. And we're like, well, let's just be off of it and, let's talk and hang out. And so he was really nice. And, he really had just wanted a family, and he was just wanting to be a great dad. And he is still kind. Like, he is a good guy, but he never really wanted to grow up, I guess. So I remember he was like, okay, we got to slow down in drinking. And I got pregnant with my son and I didn't drink. I wasn't like drinking or whatever. I do remember at the beginning, I would have like a glass of wine here or there, and I felt really guilty. I'm like, I can't be doing this. So yeah. And then I had him, and then he was working all the time and I was at home, and I was doing everything, just cleaning the house, taking care of everything, and it was just all so much on me. And I never really fought off my drinking from my divorce, so it kind of picked up after that. It wasn't as bad, but it still picked back up. And I remember we got in this fight and I was yelling at him, and I could hear him say, your drinking's gonna kill you. And I almost felt like it was God talking through him, because I'm like, oh my God, this drinking is definitely gonna kill me. And after that, I remember something saying into me, start meditating. So I started meditating, and I was listening to all the frequency stuff, and I started meditating and doing that stuff. And I started working out. I got healthy again. I feel like the Lord supernaturally, I don't know what, I started seeing numbers 1111 in 2017 when I started meditating. And I was still drinking here and there, but I wasn't really drinking. And then eventually, I think in July, I completely just, all the alcohol was gone. So it was completely lifted off of me. Thank you, Lord. Like, it was just lifted off of me. And I'm just so grateful, because I know it was him that broke that chain. I still was smoking weed here and there, at night and stuff like that. But I was still working out and I was still smoking, and I was doing the meditation. And so when I started doing meditation and stuff, on the comments, you start to see about astral projection, and all this stuff, New Age stuff. And I didn't know what New Age was. I just knew that all the symbols of Illuminati and all that stuff was evil, and, not to do that stuff. But I didn't know what all that, I didn't know, I knew meditating, and then that stuff had helped me. And I started seeing the numbers. I didn't know what they were. I was searching everywhere. I saw angel numbers. My phone was ringing. I ran into stuff about angel numbers, and I went with that for a while, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right, because I wanted to make sure it matched up with Bible stuff. And I'm like, well, the Bible doesn't say, I still had my, I always try to still read the Bible. Something was just, you start reading the Bible and do that stuff, and it's like you can't understand it. Stuff are coming against you, and you feel lost. And so I got more into the spirituality stuff. And I ran into Riki through Facebook, and she was a really nice lady. And that and the Kundalini stuff, I ran in all, it started from meditation, which healed me, which I thought it healed me from the drinking, but that was probably the Lord and just, the frequency music. But if you get into that, it's very intertwined with New Age stuff. So all the other stuff, I started to read about, I was reading books about the Gaia channel on TV, and so I started getting into basically New Age stuff, and I didn't even realize it. And I got into Reiki, and the reason why I got into Reiki, I thought the rocks had vibration and we could heal. I wanted to heal myself. I wanted to heal myself from all my pain. And I wanted to heal my family. And even like my, you know, now ex-fiance, even his family, you know, they had so many issues. And it got to a point where I loved them too, and they completely turned on me. And then he was talking about me behind their back, saying how angry I was when I drank. But yet, then he was doing stuff I found out behind my back, talking to other women, porn. You know, I told him I didn't like video games when we first got together. It's clear that he has a video game addiction to the point where he's given up his family to work and play video games, and he sees his kid a few times, our son a few times, like once a week. And you know, he just wants to do his thing. He just works. He is all about money. He makes really good money, and he didn't have money as a kid, and that means a lot to him as having money. He likes playing his video games, and he will not give that up. He is into porn. He's just very oppressed by all the technology and stuff. And so when I told him, let's get healthy, let's get in the word, you know, let's cut this out, you know, again, I met him when I was drinking. I met him on a dating site. I didn't go to the Lord and say, find me somebody. Instead, after my divorce, I went the wrong way. I didn't go into the Word. I didn't find the Lord. He woke me up, but I didn't know what was going on. All I knew about was all this evil stuff, and I was drinking so much because I was so hurt. You know, that's why I attracted somebody else that was hurt. And so when I said, let's get healthy, and I started really getting healthy, he didn't want to do that. And when I found out about, so I'm trying to think, 2017, I started seeing the numbers 1111. And then people were telling me they were evil, and then I ran into the angel numbers, and I just really started getting healthy, but I was still smoking weed. And trying to think. So yeah, I just kept searching. I kept searching for the answers. The angel numbers, you know, didn't really sit well with me. And the Reiki, like, again, I said that, like, the lady was really sweet, and she was really trying to help people, like, with cancer, or people that were sick. Everybody in the group was really nice, and they were all just supportive and trying to help each other. So nobody really knew what they were doing. Now that I know what it is, nobody really knew what they were doing. They were all just really trying to help each other. So it's really scary how easy you can get intertwined with New Age stuff, for sure. And I just remember having such a creepy feeling in my room, and I don't know. And then all of a sudden I was sent these videos, or I ran past these videos about New Age turning to Jesus. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing New Age stuff. Like, how? Like, I knew that the stuff was evil, but because I was not rooted in the Bible, in the Lord, and I had not truly found him yet, I went into that stuff. And obviously my whole life I've let all these kind of spirits, I don't think I was ever oppressed, but I've obviously let all these spirits in me, from Ouija boards, from, you know, addictions, from, you know, my ex-husband wanted me to look a certain way, and just concentrating on that, trying to look good for your spouse, like, you know, just stupid stuff that our world is just obsessed with now. And it's like, it's just horrible. But anyways, so what was I saying? Sorry, this is not easy stuff to talk about. So yes, I ran across videos, New Age going to Jesus. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I didn't even realize I was doing New Age stuff. So I remember it was around Halloween, around that time, and I already got, me and my family, all like these glow-in-the-dark, like, skeleton costumes, and we were all going to go out there as a family and stuff like that. And I just had this overwhelming feeling like, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, I don't know, something doesn't feel right. And so my grandmother's like, what do you mean? You have to celebrate Halloween. Like, everybody does it. And so they're all pushing me, what? You're going to do this. You're going to do this. And at this point, I had found out stuff about my spouse. I heard him talking to another woman in the other room, stuff like that. And he was really, really hurt. He doesn't know why he did it. He was so sorry. He's going to get in the Word with me. He's going to get healthy. He's going to get better, all this stuff. And so I was like, no, we just need to separate. You know, we need to figure out what we're doing. I just wanted to be healthy. I don't know. I just couldn't do all this anymore. And so we went and did the Halloween thing, and I remember walking by a house and it had a Bible verse out there, pray for our nation. And I just had this overwhelming guilty feeling. And I just remember like looking around, and it was like everybody was drinking, just everybody seemed so unhappy. Some people just like, I don't know, it was like, felt like a really creepy feeling. And there was these people taking pictures, and after being in the new age stuff and learning about like witches and stuff, they called themselves gifted, but they were practicing witchcraft and like sorcery, and they didn't even know that they were doing evil stuff. Like they didn't know. They really thought that they were good people. Like, I'm not saying they weren't good people, but like they didn't know what they were doing. So because you're not rooted in the Bible, you're not rooted in the Lord, it's very easy to get into this stuff, basically. And people that just aren't about religion, they get into this stuff because it's spirituality, it's something. So I learned from there, like people can use pictures and they can steal your energy and stuff from it, stuff like that. And so we were going by this family, and they had one of those regular big cameras, and they pointed right at me, and they're like, ooh, can we get a picture with you? And I had this overwhelming like creepy feeling. And I was like, okay. So they took, and I was like, you mean all of us? And so they were taking pictures, and I just got this like, they're gonna use your pictures for witchcraft or something like that. And so I remember that night, my spouse, we weren't gonna really, at this point, I had caught him doing that other stuff behind my back, and I was like, we just need to separate. We both need to get healthy and see where we're gonna be at for this relationship. And so he went off with some people at work, and he went drinking, and I came into my room, I got on my knees, and I just did prayers, warfare prayers, deliverance prayers. I called out to Jesus. Like I called out to him like no other. I was like, you got to save me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm like, you have to save me. Sorry. And then I got creeped out about marijuana too, because I read stuff like demons can be entered into your house through like marijuana, stuff like that. So I stopped everything. I wasn't drinking. I let go of marijuana. I called out to him to save me. And I remember it was the beginning of November, before my birthday. And I had these dreams, and I didn't know what the dreams meant at the time. And until I ran into Sister Paula's Wakeful Theologies, one of her videos, there was a door with a white light shining through, and in my room, like this is my bed and this is the door, like it was so real. And somebody came through my back door, and it was completely black with the white light shining through, and there was a figure there, like a knight in shining armor, like, and all I remember is me screaming in my dream, that's the truth, that's the truth, that's the truth. And I don't remember what the truth was, but I was just like, oh, thank you, God, thank you. Like I had this overwhelming feeling. And then I got a couple more dreams. I was sitting in a living room with, everybody was like hanging out, like a get together, sitting in the living room, and 3 people had walked in, and one of them were like a demon or something, and they went into the bathroom, and I looked at the girl that was with her, and she was really frightened and scared, and I was like, come on, let's get out of here. And so we take off, and I was basically hiding her from this demon and trying to save her. And so I remember like it just felt so intense, and I thought I was having dreams again, because I didn't have dreams forever. I thought it was because I stopped smoking weed that I was having these dreams. So I went to my spouse, and I'm like, I don't know if you want to have dreams again. I've had these crazy dreams. And I didn't know what the heck they were, but I had called out to Jesus to save me. And now I know he came in and he saved me. So I will never forget that. It was before my birthday, the beginning of November. And so I just started really trying to get into the Lord and stuff then. And trying to think what happened. I think I'm going to stop this so I can kind of remember. It's not going to be much longer. I had to stop the last video, and this one's not very long either, but just kind of saying after I had gotten saved what had happened. So I'm going to stop this and then make another short one.